Aloha. Hello. So welcome to today's Zoom class. Today we are talking about the immune system, and we are talking about just very basic natural ways to enhance your immune system. Something that I'm really passionate about actually is the immune system. The biggest reason is because I used to have what's called Hashimoto thyroiditis. It's an autoimmune disease. It's where your thyroid flips back and forth between hyperactive, which is overly active, and hypoactive, which means it's not doing much and it's barely there. And your thyroid is a butterfly gland that sits right here in your neck, and it helps run all these other different glands in your body. So if its signaling isn't correct, the other signaling that's going on hormonally in your body isn't necessarily going to be accurate. It's going to either follow your thyroid and be too active or underactive, or be in a place of homeostasis. So immune system health to me is huge, because if I wouldn't have taken the time to actually work on that, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't be healed. I would still be dealing with a lot of issues like weight gain or hormonal issues, emotional issues. There's been a lot for me personally that has happened with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here. And if you give me a moment. All right, so how does that look, everybody? Thumbs up. Are we able to see the things? Beautiful. Okay, hey, welcome to Immune System Basics. So who is this? Who am I? My name is Kenlee Ray, and I'm a licensed functional nutritional therapist. I'm also an Ayurvedic practitioner. I am a medicine maker. I am a song carrier, and I am also a medicine facilitator of many different medicines. Things I'd like to go over real quick and do a medical disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am not here to diagnose. I am not here to prescribe medications. I am not here to do any of that. That is not my job as a nutritional therapist, not even close. So that is not at all what this instructional video is about today. Today is a video that is here to provide you information. It is not a video to diagnose you of any problems. It is not a video to prescribe you anything. These are just recommendations. These are things I've learned over time that have worked for me, that have also worked for my clients in my nutritional and Ayurvedic practice. So just being very clear, not a doctor, not going to prescribe anything, and not going to diagnose anything. That's not my job. So I'm Kenlee Ray, and I'm super glad that you are here with me today. This class, once again, is about immune system basics and key players in our immune system. This is a very, very basic overview. This is not going to be a college course. We are not going to get into different types of cells. That includes killer T cells. We're not going to get into antigens. We're not even going to talk about antigen receptors. A big reason for this is I think that information can be overwhelming. And so in today's course, what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about the basic stuff, just so to give you a baseline for you to understand how your immune system works and what's going on there. We're also going to talk about very natural ways and awesome ways to boost your immune system. Some of those things are very basic, but I think there are things that have been forgotten or lost in today's very hectic society. So, basics of immune system function. So, our immune system is the system in our body that helps us actually keep a state of balance or homeostasis. It is a system that is designed to be able to identify and seek out things that are non-self, right? Otherwise known as foreign, or things that could be threatening to our bodies, right? Normally, these are things that that come into our system, whether that's something that we breathe in, something that we eat. You know, there's many different ways that pathogens or abnormal cells can start to develop our body. And it's our immune system's goal to find these two main targets. Those two main targets are pathogens, which are usually fungi, bacteria, parasite, and viruses, and also abnormal cells, which are developing inside of our body, such as cancer cells, which are cells that are rapidly reproducing, and defective cells, cells that are not working correctly or that don't have protein markers that make sense. Our immune system uses protein markers such as the class 1 M MHC marker protein to be able to identify cells inside of us that are actually us and things that are not us. You know, our cells, if they have this marker, it is of self, and our immune system recognizes that, and it's not going to attack it. However, if a cell does not have a class 1 MHC marker, which is a protein marker, our immune system sees this as a threat, and it goes ahead and it starts to make itself attack all of those cells that don't have those markers. Another beautiful thing about our immune system is that it has wisdom. It has innate wisdom. All right. Our immune system keeps track of every single microbe, and it also keeps track of different illnesses and things that we come in contact with, and that it also defeats. And it remembers how it defeated that. So it will know how to attack and successfully defeat again when it comes across the same microbe, which is, to me, pretty phenomenal. You don't even have conscious recognition that that is happening, but yet your body is doing this for you all of the time. So let's talk about key players in our immune system. Once again, we're not going to dive super deep into this. We're just going to mention a couple of things just to give you a basic understanding of who's really important in our immune system. So key players in our immune system, that's our thymus, our bone marrow, our spleen, our lymphatic system, our complement system, our antibodies, and our white blood cells. Other defenses that are actually a part of our immune system, but are not normally mentioned as being parts of the immune system, are our skin. Our skin is an amazing tool that actually has a waterproof shell that keeps all of our insides in here, but it also secretes a bacteria-killing oil from our pores. So right away, when we come in contact with viruses or pathogens or different things, first and foremost, they come in contact with our skin most of the time. And our skin does its best to be a key player in the immune system and fight off all these different things by just innately, just without us consciously knowing, secreting oils that help kill bacteria. Another defense person and our players of immune system is our lungs. Our lungs are really phenomenal at being able to recognize foreign objects, foreign pathogens, and things like that. What they will do is when we inhale, we have a big inhale and something comes into our system, and our lungs immediately, the cells in there recognize, oh, this is not welcome. This should not be here. What they do is they actually create a mucus barrier that surrounds either that object, that parasite, that virus, whatever is coming into our bodies, and it traps it, and it creates what most people call phlegm, right? So then the villi in your lungs, it's like these tiny little, we would almost compare them to like hairs. What they do is after that phlegm is created around that foreign object that's not welcome, the little hairs, the little villi do their best to move that object upward out of the lungs to be coughed out. That is their job of getting rid of, and a defense mechanism for the immune system of getting rid of stuff that is not welcome, that we do not need. Also, another amazing part of our immune system that is rarely mentioned is our digestive tract. First, when we eat something and it goes down into our stomach, there is acid in our stomach that is strong enough to kill off most microbes. And also, if there are things that continue somehow past that acid in our stomach, the mucus lining in our intestinal tract also contains antibodies that is supposed to help move as food moves through the intestinal tract. It is supposed to actually help kill things that do not belong there. So the immune system. Immune system can be broken up into two parts, right? First, we have the innate immune system. This is usually your rapid responder. This is the person who is first on the scene for your immune system response. Your innate immune system is a pre-programmed system that you actually inherited from your parents. So it comes passed down full of information, and as soon as you are born, it starts to enact for you. It handles common threats. It also has recognition abilities, but these recognition abilities are very minute in compared to the next part of our immune system, which is known as the adaptive immune system. Also, our innate immune system does not have any automatic memory. The memory that comes with our innate immune system is genetically encoded. It does not build memories over time, unlike the second part of our immune system, which is the adaptive immune system. Your adaptive immune system is actually a slow responder. It's kind of the second one to show up on the scene. Also, this immune system develops as we go through life. This one has a strategy to take care of toxins and bacteria, new viruses that it learned over time. Also, it handles environmental stressors that are not handled by the innate immune system. And a beautiful part about our adaptive immune system is that it has memory. And once again, it's developing as we go along through life. And so it holds on to those memories for us of, oh, hey, I handled this bacteria when this person was younger. I know how to handle this. And then goes into action based off of the memory and the data that it has from a previous time. So our adaptive immune system is extremely smart. And once again, we are not conscious of this even happening. This is something that our body does for us automatically and how it takes care of us. And it's pretty amazing. So let's talk about the immune system response and a couple of immune system disorders. One very common response to foreign objects, foreign bacteria, microbes, things coming into our body, even cancer cells developing, and a very common immune response is for you to actually get a fever. The biggest reason for this is not to make you feel sicker and not to make you feel terrible, even though that is a common side effect of having a fever. Having a fever, actually, the whole point of that is to raise your body temperature internally. So by doing so, your body's hope and your immune system's hope is that whatever microbe is inside of you that is bothering you, is your immune system's hope that by raising your body temperature, it will become too hot of an environment for this microbe to thrive, thereby killing off the microbes. So a common response to you starting to get sick, having bacteria, having a fungi, having a pathogen or a microbe inside of you, and your body has recognized it, is to give you a fever in hopes that the environment becomes non-conducive for this to be able to survive. That's how that works, right? So it's very common in society today, especially, to have either a very overactive immune system or to be able to have an underactive immune system. So some overactivity can include things that we may not even consider a part of the immune system response, but they are, such as allergic responses. When the immune system makes an overly strong response to an allergen in the body, and lots of histamines are being developed and lots of things are happening, that is actually an overreaction of our immune system trying to keep us safe. Autoimmune diseases, as I mentioned at the start of this class and recording, I myself had Hashimoto's thyroiditis, right? And that is actually an autoimmune disease because my body was not really sure which cells were which, and we're trying to kill off different cells and being overactive or being underactive, which is not conducive to health. Eczema is another immune system disorder, hay fever, multiple sclerosis, and type 1 diabetes. These are all overactivities of our immune system. Our immune system is trying to do stuff for us, but instead of it actually creating homeostasis or balance, it's causing overactivity and it can be harmful to us, right? So underactivity is immunodeficiency, which can either be inherited genetically, or it can also come from diseases or viruses. HIV/AIDS is an example of immunodeficiency. And it can also sadly arise from different types of medical treatments, once again, depending on our genetics. So let's get to the fun stuff, right? That was our basics of immune system function. And once again, there's a lot that can be covered there, but this is not a medical health class. So we're gonna start diving into natural ways that you can boost your immune system. These are some of the basics, right? So maintaining a nutrient-dense whole food diet is so key to helping out your immune system. Why? Because food is medicine. It is our first ability to be able to give ourselves the nutrients that we need to help us not only be like living a great life, but thriving. You know, when you're sick, I won't think most people when they're sick would describe that as thriving, right? If we're eating foods that help us live in a state of homeostasis and balance, our bodies have a greater chance of being able to live in their highest condition, and therefore give us a greater chance of actually being able to enjoy our lives more often than not without getting sick. Hydration. So speaking of this, if you have some water nearby, let's go ahead and hydrate real quick, because this one is actually extremely important for boosting your immune system. Oh, so good. Mini Wakoni, water is life. All right. Hydration. So hydration is so key. I cannot stress this enough. I get on people for drinking water all of the time. And the biggest reason is because your body is mostly comprised of water. We get down to the basics of at an atomic level, what our bodies actually look like. It's mainly of water. And so if we are keeping ourselves in a constant state of dehydration, it makes it really difficult on the cells in our body to do their job. And what's wonderful about your body is it wants to do its job. It actually really cares about you. And so the way that you can help it do its job in the best way is to hydrate, is to take care of yourself like that and give yourself some good water and stay in a state of hydration. Another way to boost your immune system naturally, that is very basic, very easy, is to do your best to have a regular sleep cycle. The big reason for this is because your body does need time to rest and digest. And it needs time to actually be in a state where it's not being inundated with information. It's not being asked to do all the things. It really needs to actually take a break. And so having a regular sleep cycle can help boost your immune system because it gives your whole entire being time to rest. If your body is always in a state of go, 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 it can make it very difficult for your body to actually function. At some point, it will force you to stop and slow down. So just keeping it a regular sleep cycle, keeping up with that is so key, so important. Next up, minimize stress factors, right? This one can be actually very difficult depending on what kind of environment you live in, depending on what your work life is like, what your home life is like. If you have a bunch of kids that you're taking care of, or you're traveling all the time, it can be very difficult to minimize stress factors, right? And so it becomes actually your job to figure out how to minimize said stress factors. Because yes, it's one thing to have external forces affect your life, but something that I would love to stress is in order to help your body overall, your mental, your physical, emotional, spiritual, and hell, even your financial health, is to develop tools in your toolbox for you to figure out how to manage and mitigate stress as much as possible. There's one thing that's true about society today. It's stressful. It's going to be that way. That's not just going to randomly change tomorrow and it's rainbows and sunshine. I think as much as we all would like it to be that way, because Lord knows I would like it to be that way, I don't think that's going to happen. So in the meantime, it's best if we develop tools in our toolbox to help minimize the stress instead of just wishing that it's going to go away. It's probably not. So we can help it naturally make it go away though, and naturally live in a state of sunshines, rainbows, and unicorns by developing these tools in our toolbox, which are so important to help us minimize our stress. Which also goes with my next point, which is learn how to regulate your nervous system to prevent stress responses. This is so key that I'm actually going to do a completely separate class on this, on how our immune system and our nervous system are basically two sides of the same coin. They are not different. They are extremely wired together, and they are wired together through the vagus nerve. So one way that we can actually help minimize stress factors and help boost our immune system is to be able to regulate our limbic and our nervous system. so that we're not like this all the time. Because if we're like this all the time, that means we're actually stressed out. And our body, instead of being in a parasympathetic state, is in a sympathetic state. And it's not taking nutrients in that we're feeding it. No matter how much we hydrate, it's barely getting any of that. So if we're going to actually boost our immune system, one of the biggest ways we can do that is to learn how to calm down our nervous system to prevent stress responses from even lighting up or coming up on our radar. If we can prevent things from showing up on the radar, then we don't have as much work to do to try to bring the radar response down. If it's not even popping up for us, then it's not being registered. So that is a great way to boost the immune system, is learning what works for you to regulate your nervous system. So another thing, kind of off the same branch here that we're talking about in minimizing stress factors and also regulating the nervous system, is how to help your vagus nerve, which is located at the back of your brain and goes through all of your body, we know how to locate, I just did it for you, how to calm down your vagus nerve so that it actually suppresses and controls immune system responses and limbic nervous system responses. Once again, our immune system and our nervous system are very much two sides of the same coin. Taking cold baths using hydrotherapy, it actually, because of the constriction that happens because of the cold water, physiologically what's going on, there's a couple different things. First off, in your cardiovascular system, your blood system, there's a constriction that is happening because of the cold temperature in your body. So your body is limiting itself to only absolutely necessary function. When this starts to happen, this actually affects your vagus nerve, because your vagus nerve is in touch with all of those different organs and in touch with all those different things. And it's signaling, which usually happens like in a stress response or for immune system responses, slows down. When we have a slowing down of signaling, it is actually calming. It is very calming to our bodies to be able to experience this on a physiological level. So one great tool for your toolbox to help you manage your stress factors and to also regulate your nervous system is to take ice baths. Either that or find a place, find a spa, find somewhere that has a cold bath that is at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at converting into Celsius. Whoever is on a different place in the world and they're watching this on replay, you're going to have to do that on Google. I unfortunately grew up in America and I am still learning how to convert things into Celsius. It is not a strong point of mine, but you're going to need that cold bath to be at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit or less. It could be even less than that. You could go down to 45, but you're going to need to have that. One important factor in this too is also not just jumping into that bath and being like, woo, I did the thing. All right, I'm out of here. Whoa, that was cold, right? The whole point of this actually, once again, is to not stimulate your vagus nerve. We're trying to calm it down. So you're going to need to sit in that bath for at a minimum of 2 minutes. I highly recommend sitting in there for 5 minutes, or getting into a place of meditation and sitting in there as long as you possibly can and losing track of all time. Because when you're able to kind of check out of all your thoughts, this human brain thing that's going on, and you're able to check more into your heart and live from there, I promise you it is much easier to sit in a cold bath than if you're sitting there being like, okay, right, it's been a minute, sweet, Once again, we're also trying to calm the vagus nerve. So if you're doing some pranayama, which is breathing exercises, or you're doing some sort of meditation, this is going to also, bonus, help calm down your vagus nerve and help you get out of this human headspace and get into this human space, your heart, so that you're able to, from your heart, be here and not be focused on, oh, it's been 3 minutes, it's been 2 minutes. No, you're going to take a cold bath to calm your vagus nerve. I highly recommend that you sit in there for 2 or more minutes. I mean, don't let me stop you from sitting in there for 10 minutes. But definitely put on a meditation if you are not familiar with how to get yourself into a meditative state, or if you are, get yourself into a meditative state, do some pranayama, and be able to actually calm down physiologically on many different levels. All right, let's get into my favorite topic. So those are some basic ways, right? Those are pretty much mostly free ways. You don't really need anything else with those ways prior to this besides just having some water, being able to breathe, and jumping into a cold bath every once in a while. Right now, we're going to talk about some natural ways to boost your immune system that are through supplementation and different foods. And this is actually one of my favorite topics. I tend to be quite the chemistry nerd. And so being able to talk about supplementation or different foods to eat, that's my niche. So let's get into it. So natural ways to boost your immune system. There's a list right here. I am actually not going to follow this list. I'm going to bounce around in topics just so this actually flows for me. So let's start with different foods that boost your immune system, right? Let's talk about mushrooms. Mushrooms are amazing, and there are actually so many different kinds of mushrooms that can help boost your immune system, right? Some of my favorites that are also adaptogenic. What is an adaptogen? An adaptogen helps our brain neurologically and our bodies physiologically adapt to stress. If you remember earlier, I was just talking about how our immune system and our nervous system are very much the same side of a coin. Two different sides of the same coin. There we go. And if we're trying to boost our immune system, it is also very helpful if our brain can help minimize and mitigate stress. This can happen through taking adaptogenic herbs. Some of the best are mushrooms. Some of my favorites of those adaptogenic herbs and mushrooms are reishi mushroom, which is a huge immune booster, turkey tail, cordyceps, and one that's not listed on your list that should be, I'm sorry about that, is chaga. Chaga is an extremely antioxidant mushroom, and it is phenomenal at not only being an adaptogen for your brain, but being highly antioxidant for your body. So that it is producing antioxidants, which help reduce stress factors that are actually inside of your body that affect your cells, right? So mushrooms are amazing. Medicinal mushrooms, the mushrooms that actually have the properties to be adaptogenic, are phenomenal at being able to boost our immune system. So another thing that I'm not sure why it's not on here, but we're going to dive into real quick is actually cacao. Cacao is a phenomenal antioxidant. You'll see on your list here that you have blueberries and antioxidants in general as just a generalization. Cacao has 40 times the amount of antioxidants that blueberries do. So blueberries are actually something that are prescribed as a prescription to eat every single day by pilots who are in pilot school. And imagine though, if that has high antioxidants, what pilots could actually have for being able to have, cacao every day. That is 40 times the amount of antioxidants than blueberries. That's amazing, right? That is completely amazing. Is that cacao, friend? Because that looks like it. Yeah, I love that. So, blueberries though, I'm not hating on the blueberries. I'm just saying, hey, if you've got some cacao that you can consume, it is very high in antioxidants, as are blueberries. As I just mentioned, they're usually prescribed to pilots as a way to boost themselves up and to keep their eyesight for a couple of different things that blueberries have, chemically inside of them. So some other stuff on your list here that can help boost your immune system, right? Garlic, ginger, turmeric. And turmeric in particular, I'd like to mention something about turmeric, is that it has the ability to totally change your immune system by being able to boost it up. However, It actually needs something else in order to activate the curcumin that's inside of the turmeric. Curcumin is what boosts your immune system. It's what helps fight off these pathogens. But in order for that to actually be active, what you need to be consuming at the exact same time that you consume turmeric is you need to have some black pepper. You got to have them hand in hand. If you take turmeric without our friend black pepper, it's actually not going to be activated in your body. So you could be taking as much turmeric as you want, but if you're not taking it with some black pepper, the immune system boosting curcumin that is inside of turmeric is going to do abso nothing. So if you're going to take turmeric as a way to boost your immune system, bravo, it's an amazing tool. You know, I just used a bunch of that recently while I was dealing with an upper respiratory issue. However, take some black pepper with it. You know, whether you have to capsulate black pepper into capsules, or if you just start adding more into your food while you are taking turmeric. However you've got to do it, you need to absolutely have both, or the curcumin in your turmeric isn't going to do much for you. And that is what you are seeking. You are seeking for the curcumin to help you out. So some other immune boosting things that I'm really in love with are Chinese skullcap, Japanese knotweed, broccoli sprouts, black and green tea. These also have great immune boosting qualities, are also extremely high in antioxidants, and provide our bodies the ability to be able to process our different pathogens and microbes and be able to fight them off a lot easier. Sometimes, you know, there have been times in my life, I don't know about you guys' lives, but there are times in my life where I've actually needed a friend. I've needed some extra support to be able to get through whatever challenge I was facing. So you can look at it like this. If you are going to help your immune system needs some friends. And so by eating different foods and taking different supplements, this is a way to give your immune system those friends that it needs in order for it to actually function at its highest ability, right? And so that can come through, once again, either adapting your diet and including some of these things on the list in your diet, or it can also come through supplementation. You can be taking different vitamins, you can be taking different supplements, just as long as you're focusing on helping your immune system get some extra friends, so it's not fighting for you all by itself. So these are some fantastic ways to boost your immune system. You know, once again, you could take those through supplements, you can take them in tea, you can eat them in your diet. As long as you're giving your body that stuff and you're not just looking at it on a store shelf, you actually have to ingest these things in order for them to work. It's going to help your immune system big time. You know, there's many different supplements that are not listed here on your list that can help you in the middle of an immune system response, such as apple cider vinegar, echinacea, you know, those things that actually, there are many different berries like rose hips. That's another great herb that contain high amounts of vitamin C. And vitamin C is another great friend of our immune system because it actually helps boost us up and be able for our immune system to fight the good fight and do what it's supposed to do. So here's my really awesome and fun reference list. If you have any questions about where I got any of this information at all, I'm more than happy to send you this reference list. There are also things that I just happen to know through herbalist school, through Ayurveda school, through going through NTA's functional nutritional therapy practitioner course for 2 years. There are things that I just happen to have learned. But what I have done my best in this reference list is to actually compile true references to go back to so that you can actually see them and then say, oh, hey, cool. You know, it's nice, I think, even if we have this huge book of knowledge, to be able to look at different medical documents, different studies that have been done so that we can learn more about some things that we are being taught. So my very last slide is, hey, it's me. So my name is Kenleigh Ray. And if you are looking to contact me to learn more about your body, to enter into some nutritional therapy, whether that is my Panchakarma, whether that is, oh, let's see. Hold on a second, friend. I don't know why it's not showing me my chat. Give me 2 seconds. Let me finish this and exit out of this screen. Perfecto. And then I think it will let me see the chat. I think my computer is just like, hey, we've got 3 screens going. Why can I not see the thing? So anyway, if you'd like to contact me, you can get a hold of me either on socials on Facebook at Kenleigh Ray J. That is my business page. You can find my videos on YouTube, on Vimeo. You can also go to my website, which is listed here at kenleighray.com. And through those tools, I actually have several different courses that you can choose to enroll in so that you can learn more about your personal bio-individualistic needs. Every single body is different. There's nobody like you. And as a nutritional therapist, it's my job to figure out how you particularly run. What is it that stresses your body out? What is it that actually makes you thrive? And every single one of us have different compositions, right? There are different things that affect people in different ways. There are different foods that people should avoid and different foods that they should love, right? And so in working with me, we come up with personalized programs that not only address your physiological health through nutritional work, but we also address things like your mental health. You know, we address things like your emotional health and your spiritual health. We're taking a whole look at the body here because in Ayurveda, nothing is separate. We do not look at the body like, oh, it's just, you know, you're just having this problem or this is going on. Actually, problems or things that are rising are typically actually symptoms of an overall picture that's going on. So in working with me, we're not just going to take a look at stuff. We're going to take a look at your whole life. We're going to look at your stress factors, what your home life is like. Where do you live environmentally? You know, what do you do for work? How are you feeling? Do you take care of yourself emotionally? Do you meditate? Do you actually sleep well? How do you handle stress? What happens when you do different things? And also, we're going to do stuff like talk about your poop. We're going to talk about how much you hydrate. We're going to go over lots of different factors in working with me. It is not just, oh, hey, here's a diet and I hope it works for you. Good luck. No, this is a one-on-one personalized mentorship and walk with me to ensure and make sure that your whole systems, all of them, your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and hell, even your financial self, are all functioning for you to have your best and highest life. So give me just a second here. Let me go ahead and exit out of this full screen. All right. Hey, we're back to just us. All right. Cold therapy, less than 60 degrees for 20 minutes plus. If you can do it for that long, absolutely. Now, my recommendation for just starting out, because it can be a practice that is difficult for most people to do. Now, I know, Kirby, you are someone who actually has experience in doing Dumo breath. You have experience in trying to push yourself past limitations, and you have decades, not just years, you have decades of experience in doing yogic practices. So for most beginners, it's going to be that they need to do 2 to 5 minutes maximum. That's going to be a starting point. If they can even get to 2 minutes, perfect. You know, if they can get to 5 minutes, even better. And to be able to build off of that. Now, if you can do less than 60 degrees for 20 minutes plus, right on. But if you start doing this practice, once every other day, once a week, I highly recommend at a minimum doing it once a week. If you start doing this practice and you realize, wow, heck, I'm only in here for 20 minutes and I'm not able to check out through my meditations or my breathing, I start to lose my heart space and get back into my head space. If you're realizing that, oh, hey, this is where I'm at, just continue to try to build off of that. If 10 minutes is where you're at with stuff to begin with, awesome. That is a phenomenal starting place. And then if you work your way up to 20 minutes, even better. That is spending more time. The more time that you spend in the cold is physiologically teaching your body to spend more time in the calm. which actually is amazing because then later on, if we think about it, when stress factors pop up, right? One of the physiological responses that you've spent time training your body to do is to stay in the calm and to not immediately react. So that's a big reason for why cold therapy. Does that answer your question?
Beautifully, thank you. I'm going to have to check out the sea temperature around here. It might be in the low 60s.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually will have to do a conversion of Celsius because I would like to list that on here because there are many viewers who are going to be watching this from Canada, and I have someone from France as well. And I want to make sure that they're included in on this because I am just, once again, only familiar with Fahrenheit just because I'm in the United States. And that's where I grew up, and I am still learning on expanding my knowledge when it comes to other systems that I was not taught in school.
I want to say that one of the reasons why I wanted to see this was not just because I was interested in the topic, was because I could kind of get up to speed on where you are now with your presentations.
Oh, thanks, honey.
And I just want to say that and I don't know if you do this intentionally, but you strike a balance between, okay, now we're going to look at the chart, and okay, everybody, now we're going to look at the chart, right? You've got that sweet spot so that even me with an MTV attention span will go, oh, right, this is the next thing, right?
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope so. That's kind of the intention of doing different presentations like that, and also trying not to jump into too much information. And yet, I don't know about you. You can let me know in a second, but did you ever have a professor that talked like this and, he was just in class and he would teach things and it was, hey,
he was teaching statistics.
No. Not that class. That's there. I'm so sorry, Fred. But for me, that does not grab the attention span. That does not grab someone for me personally. And so I do my best with the classes that I teach in order to strike a balance between here's the information you're seeking, and also let's not get too bored while we're trying to seek it, right?
Yeah, I really, I really feel like the balance that you strike is really good. And of course, you're super articulate. That's just your nature. In fact, you're so articulate that it's hard to keep up sometimes. But in this case,
not so much in this recording, although I know in everyday life, there are some times where you're like, whoa, slow down, choo-choo train. Like, keep going, but just kick it down 12 notches.
Well, see, and I was going to get right to that. In your presentation, in your delivery, what I'm seeing is that it's being nicely paced. It's
Same.
So, and I'm not just doing this to praise you and stuff. It's like I want to tell you what I'm seeing that I think is very effective and that works well. Thanks. And by the way, the glasses work well. And this may seem strange to you, but it adds a section, kind of an air of Hermione.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean?
No, I do. And it's particularly funny just because quite literally my little sister today was watching Harry Potter. So real quick, folks, really? I'm actually going to end this recording, but I do want to wrap up with a couple different things. First and foremost, Kirby has known me. I'm just going to go blah, blah, blah about Kirby here for a second and give him a shout out. Kirby has known me for over 9 years at this point. I think we're coming up on 10 years this next year, right? And so Kirby has actually been a huge mentor of mine. Kirby has been a teacher of mine. Kirby has been someone who I would consider a pillar in my life. I have taught many classes before when I talk about your foundation and how it's important to have a very strong foundation in order for you to rise up in your life. Kirby has been somebody that has been a part of my foundation. And it's not been perfect. We're both human. We're both learning. We're both growing. But Kirby has been somebody who has been there and has supported me and has watched me change from, being on the streets, using hard drugs, being a single mom, having absolutely no direction, showing up on his property, mind you, in an RV and just be like, here I am, what's up? he has watched that transition all the way up until now. And so I'm very grateful, not only for his friendship, for his support, but also for his teachings. Kirby has been somebody who has been a huge teacher and a huge ally in my life. For a while there, Kirby and I were doing this dance where it was like Kirby was my teacher and I was a student. Somewhere along the line, though, for me personally, maybe you can speak to this, but for me personally, it changed. My relationship with him changed, and we always had been best friends, but it very much became teacher to teacher. And we started to be able to teach each other about different things. And it no longer was like, oh, Curb's doing this and I'm just learning. Yes, there are many things and many things that Kirby can teach me. He has a huge knowledge base, in particular when it comes to Kriya Yoga, when it comes to the subtle body, when it comes to that kind of understanding. And yet, at the same time, there's many different things that I can also teach Kirby, especially in the realm of entheogens, herbal medicine, plants, different things like that. So we are very complementary to each other in our teachings. So I just want to touch base on that for anybody who's watching this replay, because I know there are a bunch of people who will, that's who Curb is. He has vast experience, and as do I, and I really value his presence in my life. And I appreciate you tapping in today, friend, and you touching base and coming to take this time, because time is sacred. So thank you for spending time with me like that today. And also anybody watching this on replay, your time is sacred to me. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day, your life, whatever you are going through, to watch this. It means the world to me. So thank you for that.
And thank you, my friend. And teacher to teacher is how it must be from here forward.
Big time.
We are learning from each other. And for anyone watching this, if you can find someone who you can truly learn from and share what you know, it is such a precious thing. Keep them around. It's worth it.
It's more than worth it. It's been the biggest life gift for me in many different ways. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this recording now. Actually, before I do that, any last questions, Kirby, since you were so amazing to show up today? Do you have anything else about the topics that I touched on at all that are remaining in your mind before I go ahead and close this out?
There's a lot of information that's coming out nowadays on the vagus nerve.
Yeah.
Is there like a core thing that I need to look for in that?
No. So I'm actually going to do next week, depending on what scheduling happens. I kind of have a very crazy work schedule and business schedule coming up. But in the next week, as I mentioned earlier in this recording, I'm going to do a whole video on not only our immune system, but our nervous system, how they're two sides of the same coin, but how they're two sides of the same coin is our vagus nerve. It is the connector. It is the neural pathway. It is the way that information is shared. And so all I would say is that the different breathing, the different pranayama exercises that you know how to do that help physiologically calm the body, and also doing this cold bath, I'm going to say that those are great trainings and a good place to start. And I would ask that you join me next week. I will keep you updated on when that class will be, for that to actually be dove into, because I'm going to go deep with this one, because our vagus nerve is so cool, man. And it is also something that I'm glad it's kind of finally coming out. It's kind of now like mainstream more, whereas in anatomy, I don't think it was talked about as much in my anatomy classes. It's something that I actually had to take continuing education on. So anybody watching this on replay, I will let you all know I'm going to do a whole class on the vagus nerve, our immune system, and our stress responses, and how they're one and the same coin because of our vagus nerve, ways to actually attune our vagus nerve, ways to actually help boost it, how to keep it healthy, and how to calm it down, so that when it receives responses, the first thing it doesn't do is go into fight or flight. It is our goal in life in general to keep ourselves in a parasympathetic state, in rest and digest as much as we can, without being in a sympathetic state of being like, oh, fight or flight or fawn or whatever, I'm going to do the thing. It's like, no, we're trying to avoid that. So that's going to be a class that happens very soon because I think it is a huge topic and it's an important one too. So thank you for asking that question. Are there any more questions, my friend? Are we good to go? Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this recording. Give me just a second here. Thank you all for joining me today. Aloha.